Okay, let's take a look at this worksheet 10-4, which deals with the similarity ratio, the perimeter ratio, and the area ratio that will be on Friday's quiz. So if we take a look at these comparisons at the top, the similarity ratio is A to B, and therefore the perimeter ratio is A to B. Then the area ratio will be A squared to B squared. So for the first problem, it says that the similarity ratio is 5 to 7. So the perimeter ratio is 5 to 7, and the area ratio will be 25 to 49. Now remember, we're going to set these up as ratios that look like fractions when we use these for solving problems. So the similarity ratio is going to be 3 to 8, and then the area ratio for this one will be 9 to 64. So number 3, it gives you the area ratio is 4 to 169, and because that's the area, you have to take the square root of both of those, so you will get 2 over 13. So the similarity ratio will be 2/13, and the perimeter ratio will be 2/13. Writing it as a fraction is just another way to write that similarity ratio, perimeter ratio, and area ratio. So number 4, the similarity ratio is 1 to 6, therefore the perimeter ratio is 1 to 6, and the area ratio is 1 to 36. Number 5, you're given the perimeter ratio, so therefore the similarity ratio is the same, 4 to 11. The area ratio will be 16 to 121. It's the similarity ratio squared. Number 6, this time you are given the area ratio again, so 144 over 289. So that's going to be the square root of 144 over the square root of 289. So that will be 12 over 17. Remember, the similarity ratio and the perimeter ratio are the same. Number 7, the similarity ratio is 4 to 13, so the perimeter ratio is 4 to 13. The area ratio will be 16 to 169. Number 8, the area ratio is 81 to 100. You take the square root of both of those, and you will get that the similarity ratio is 9 to 10. And therefore the perimeter ratio is also 9 to 10. Now let's use this idea to find both the perimeter and the area of some similar figures. Looks like I have a little missing information, so I'll fill that in as we go. So when I look at question 9, my similarity ratio will be 6 to 9, and I can write that as 2/3. Therefore, my perimeter ratio is going to be 2/3, and my area ratio is going to be 4/9. Now I'm asked to find the perimeter, so 2 is to 3. As I have the perimeter of the smaller, that's 20, I'm looking for the perimeter of the larger, call that P. Can cross multiply, 2P equals 60, so P equals 30. So the perimeter on that is 30. And then this problem also asks you to find the area of the smaller, and it gives you the area of the larger as 90. No, 45, I'm sorry. Looked at the wrong problem, so that's 45. So I'm going to take my area ratio, 4 is to 9, as the area of the smaller is what I'm looking for, over the area of the larger. So I'll have 9a is equal to 180, so A is equal to 20. Looking at number 10, my similarity ratio is 33 to 12. My perimeter ratio would also be 33 to 12. My area ratio will then be 1089 over 144, because I have to square those. So to find the perimeter, I'll take the perimeter ratio. 33 is to 12. That's equal to the perimeter of the larger, which is P, over the perimeter of the smaller, which is 60. That gives me 1,980 equals 12P. So P is equal to 165. Then I need to find the area. So I'll take the area ratio, which is 189 over 144. That's equal to the area of the larger, which is 484 over the area of the smaller. We'll call that A. So I have 1089A is equal to 484 times 144, which is 69, 69. So 69,696. Divide both sides by 1,089. And I will get the area is equal to 64. Moving on to number 11, my similarity ratio is 48 over 30. And then if you can reduce that, it might help to make the numbers just a little smaller. So I'll make this 24/15. Then my perimeter ratio is also 24/15. And my area ratio will be 576 over 225. So question 11 asked me to find the perimeter of the larger. So I'm going to take my perimeter ratio, 24 over 15, is equal to the perimeter of the larger over the perimeter of the smaller. So I'll multiply, cross multiply, get 15P is equal to 2,160. Divide that by 15, and you get that the perimeter is equal to 144. Then I need to find the area of the smaller. So I'll take my area ratio. 576 is to 225, as 1,152 is to the area of the smaller. Cross multiply, you get 576A is equal to 11,052 times 225, 259,200 divided by 576, and you will get that the area is equal to 450. Now, number 12, I have two similar triangles. My similarity ratio, again, I have 8 to 28, so I can reduce that to 2/7. So my perimeter ratio will also be 2/7, and my area ratio will be 4 over 49. So you're just going to square that similarity ratio. So to find the perimeter of the larger triangle, take my perimeter ratio, which is 2/7, and set that equal to the perimeter of the smaller, which is 28. And I'll use P as the value for the perimeter of the larger. Cross multiply, and you're going to get 2P is equal to 196. So P is equal to 98. Then you need to find the area. So take your area ratio, 4 is to 49, as the area of the smaller is to the area of the larger 294. Cross multiply, and you get 1176 equals 49A. Divide both sides by 49, and the area is equal to 24. 13. Now I need to find my similarity ratio. My similarity ratio at this point is x over 16. So I can look at the perimeter ratio, which is 28 over 56. So 28 over 56 can be reduced to 1/2. And then I will find my area ratio, which is going to be x squared over 16 squared, which is 256. So when I look at this, if my similarity ratio is x over 16, and my perimeter ratio, so x is to 16 as 1 is to 2, cross multiply, you get 2x equals 16, so x is equal to 8. Okay, so put that in and see what that looks like. The similarity ratio is equal to 8/16. Remember, that's supposed to be the same as the perimeter ratio, which is 1/2. So that would be correct. So now when I go to my area ratio is going to be 8 squared, or 64 over 256. Now if you want to reduce that, you can make that 1 over 4. That will eliminate having to deal with those simplifying radicals if you can reduce the area perimeter by a common factor. So now to find the area of the smaller, I have 1 is to 4 as A is to 144. So 144 equals 4A, 144. So the area is equal to 36. Let's take a look at number 18. Again, when I'm looking for the similarity ratio, I have 18 is to x. So I need to go to those perimeters. So the perimeter ratio is equal to 108 over 60. And I want to reduce that if possible. And that reduces to 9/5. Therefore, my area ratio will be 81/25. I need to find the value for x. So I have 18, the similarity ratio is to x, as 9 is to 5. 18 times 5 is 90. That equals 9x. So x is equal to 10. So if you substitute that in, the similarity ratio is equal to 18 over 10, which reduces to 9/5, exactly the same as the perimeter ratio. Now to find the area of the smaller, I'll take the area ratio, which is 81/25, and set that equal to the area of the larger, which is 324, over the area of the smaller. Cross multiply, you get 81A is equal to 324 times 25, which is 8100, and then the area is equal to 100. Number 15, we have two triangles. Again, we're looking for that similarity ratio. So our similarity ratio at this point is 30 over x. Our perimeter ratio is 75 over 45. So again, if you can reduce that, you want to do that, and this reduces to 5 over 3. Both 75 and 45 are divisible by 15. So my area ratio is equal to 25/9. Now I need to go back to my similarity ratio and find the value of x. So I have 30 is to x as the perimeter ratio, 5 is to 3. So 90 is equal to 5x. X is equal to 18. Then I want to find my area of the smaller, so I'll take the area ratio, which is 25/9, and set that equal to the area of the larger, which is 175, over the area of the smaller, A, that's the one I'm looking for. Cross multiply, and you get 25A is equal to 1575. Divide both sides by 25, you will get that A is equal to 63. Taking a look at 16, again, my similarity ratio is x is to 18. My perimeter ratio is going to be 44 is to 99, which reduces to 4/9. And my area ratio will then be 16 over 81. To find x, I'll take my similarity ratio, x over 18, and set that equal to my perimeter ratio, which is 4/9. Cross multiply, and I get 9x equals 72. So x is equal to 8. So my similarity ratio is equal to 8 over 18, and I can reduce that because I can divide both of those by 2, and that would give me 4/9. Number 17, again, I'm looking for the similarity ratio. Similarity ratio will be x is to 32. The perimeter ratio is going to be 720 over 1280. And I'll need to then find the area ratio. Oh, sorry, that's not the perimeter, that's the area. Let me change that and go back to, okay. So my perimeter ratio is P over 192. My area ratio is 720 over 1280. Now remember, the area ratio is the perimeter ratio squared. So I'm going to take A squared over B squared is equal to 720 over 1280. Then I'm going to take the square root of each of those terms. So A is to B. The square root of 720 is 26.3. Let's see if we can reduce that fraction before we take the square root, to see if we can get a little easier number. So I have 9 over 160. So I'll take the square root of that. So A over B is equal to the square root of 9, which is 3. And then the square root of 160, square root of 160, that is not a perfect square. So 160 divided by 4, 160 divided by 16, so that would be 2. Square root of 10 would be my area, would be my similarity ratio. So now, to find my similarity ratio, I will take x is to 32 as 3 is to 2, the square root of 10. Cross multiply, 2 root 10x is equal to 96. And then divide both sides, so x is equal to 96 divided by 2 root 10. That's going to become 48 divided by root 10. Rationalize the denominator by multiplying by root 10, and you will get that x is equal to 48 root 10 over 10. We can reduce that to 24 root 10 over 5. You won't have anything like that on the quiz to deal with. I will make sure that yours are all integers. I'm more concerned that you understand the process of how to find the area ratio given the perimeter ratio or the perimeter ratio given the area ratio than I am about you dealing with radicals. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Hopefully this one will be a little kinder. The similarity ratio is going to be 42 to x. The perimeter ratio is going to be 162 over p. And I have the area ratio is equal to 288 over 200. Now I think I can divide both of those by 2, and that gives me 144 over 100. So I have a squared over b squared is equal to 144 over 100. Take the square root of each of those terms, and you will get that a is to b as 12 is to 10. So then you have your similarity ratio. Similarity ratio is 12 is to 10, which is 6 is to 5. So you can find x by saying 42 is to x as 6 is to 5. 42 times 5 is 210 equals 6x. Divide 210 by 6 and you will get x is equal to 35. Then the perimeter ratio, again, you're going to use 6/5. So you'll take 162 is to p as 6 is to 5. Cross multiply 162 times 5 is 810 equals 6p. Divide by 6 and you get p is equal to, the perimeter is equal to 135. The last two, again, we're given the areas. I guess they want us to make sure we understand how to find that similarity ratio. So my similarity ratio at this point is 90 over x. My perimeter ratio at this point is going to be 360 over p. My area ratio is 400 over 36. So I have a squared is to b squared as 400 is to 36. Take the square root of all those terms and you will get that a is to b as 20 is to 6. So that similarity ratio, you can reduce that to 10/3. So now 90 over x equals 10 over 3. So you will have 27 equals 10x, so x is equal to 27. Actually, that's 270 equals 10x, so x is 27. Now let's take a look at the perimeter, which is 360 over p, and that's equal to that similarity ratio as well, right here, 10 over 3. So you have 360 times 3, which is 1,080 equals 10p. Divide both sides by 10, so p is equal to 108. Last one, again, we're given those areas. So my similarity ratio is equal to x over 7. My perimeter ratio is equal to p over 84. And my area ratio is equal to 45 over 245. So can I reduce that? Let's see, 45 divided by 5 is 9. 245 divided by 5 is 49. So my area ratio is equal to 9 over 49. Therefore, a squared over b squared is equal to 9 over 49. Take the square root of each of those terms, so a over b is equal to 3 over 7. So that similarity ratio is going to be 3 to 7. Oh, that makes this one pretty easy. X is to 7 as 3 is to 7. Cross multiply, 7x equals 21. X, of course, equals 3. Now my perimeter ratio, P, is to 84. Remember, I'm going to set that equal to the perimeter ratio, which is 3 is to 7. So 7P is equal to 84 times 3, which is 252. Divide that by 7, and the perimeter is equal to 36. Okay, I hope that you were able to follow that. I'm actually just looking at number 17 and questioning that answer. I'm not quite sure of that one. Everything else should be correct. So hopefully you understand now the relationship between the similarity ratio, the perimeter ratio, and the area ratio. That's the end of this video. I'll do another video and upload the next video on the area of polygons sometime tomorrow.